Question 1. We have the names of 5 different individuals, and what we need to find out is the ages of these 5 individuals. However, the information is not located on this page for the ages of these individuals. So we have to go to our table that is located on our Data tab, as you can see here. The first column has names of the 5 individuals, second, age, third, gender, fourth, income, and the 5th, education. But we need to get the ages of these individuals back over to our question 1 tab in order to answer the question. First thing we need to do is click under age. Then go up to FX, which stands for insert function. Then it'll come up with a box that says insert function, and we have a search box for our function, and we're going to type in VLOOKUP, and we're going to click on the go, and it's going to come up with our VLOOKUP function. From here we need to click OK. Alright, so far so good. Alright, so this is our function arguments box. Basically, it provides every single piece of our VLOOKUP function. The first step is the lookup value. Well, our lookup value is basically our reference value. And our reference value to start our VLOOKUP is John Smith. So we need to click this up arrow, go over here and click on John Smith. He's located in cell B7, and you'll know if you did it right because it'll say John Smith off to the side here. After that, we'll go down to our next step, which is table array. This basically means that we're telling Excel where our data is located at, in what table, and on what tab. So here we click this up arrow, we go down here and we click on data. We're going to highlight our entire table, and we're going to push the button F4. This will lock down our table's data range. Down arrow. The next thing we need to do is tell Excel which column on the data tab within our cell range or table range the information we are looking for is located. We got to push the up arrow again. We've got to go back to our data tab. At the top here, some numbers highlighted in red. These numbers correspond to the different columns our information is located. So we have name, column 1, age in column 2, gender in column 3, income in column 4, and education in column 5. So we're looking for age. So age is located in column 2. So we want to click the down arrow, clear out this information that I put in there, and we just want to type the number 2. So that tells Excel where to find the information in which column. Our last piece of information that we have to tell Excel to finish up our VLOOKUP formula is our range lookup. Now the range lookup gives us a choice. We can either A, find the information that is not exactly exact but close to give us an answer, or we can tell Excel that we want to find the exact information that goes with our answer. Now, according to the range lookup, if we want a close match, we put true. If we want an exact match, we push we key in false. So we're going to key false right here. And it's going to give us a preview. And that preview shows 25. That is basically telling us if we did our VLOOKUP formula correctly, that in this cell right here, the number 25 is going to come up, and that is the correct answer for John Smith's age. So if we click OK, we'll see. So the 25 came up. So now we're going to go over to our data tab, look for John Smith, look in column 2, and see if it says 25. We locate John Smith, we've gone to column 2, and it says 25. So this says we did our VLOOKUP correctly. However, we haven't finished yet. In one, we've got to find the ages for all the other individuals as well. All right, so we're going to click back on the cell under age so we can see our formula. You remember earlier I said we needed to lock down our table and cell range by clicking on F4. By doing that, we can now drag our formula down and it will provide the answers for the ages of all 5 individuals. Now, we would not have been able to drag this formula down had we not locked down this cell range. Question 2 is asking us for the educational level and income level of our 5 individuals we met in question 1. And just like in question 1, the information is not on this page to answer that question. This information is located in the table on our data tab. However, unlike age being in column 2, income and education are our last 2 columns of our table. So we need to get this information back to our question 2 tab in order to answer the question being asked. So just like in question 1, click into the first cell under our first heading and right beside John Smith, which is the first cell under education. We need to go up here to our insert function button, the FX, and click on it. We need to get rid of all this information right here and click and type in VLOOKUP. We need to go. We see our VLOOKUP function. We need to click OK. Now, up to this point, every step has been the exact same as we did in question 1. We need to look up our lookup value, and in this question, John Smith is going to be our lookup value again. So we're going to hit the up arrow, and we're going to click on John Smith. And we're going to go back to our down arrow now, and you're going to see that John Smith is in cell B7 just like he was in question 1. Now this is where we're going to do something a little different. This time we're going to highlight cell, the B7 in the cell, and we're going to click F4 once, which locks down the entire cell. So you only get the information out of B7. Twice, which now allows us to only get the information out of row 7 because the $ is by the 7 and not on the other side of the B. And now a third time we're going to push it because now it locks it down to the lookup value being in column B and not on the row 7. So all of our lookup value names are in column B. So this is what we want. So then we're going to go to the next step, which is table array. And if you remember in question 1, that table array was basically us telling Excel what page, what table, and what cell range we need to get our data from. So we're going to click our arrow, we're going to go to Data. We're going to highlight our table. We're going to press F4 like we did the first time around to lock down this information. And then we're going to go to our next spot, which is the column index, which, if you remember here, this is where we told Excel where we need to get the information on the Data tab in the cell range, the specific column. So, in order to find the specific column, Education resides on the Data page. Click the arrow, go to Data, find Education, which is column 5, click our arrow, get rid of the Data, put in a 5, and go to our next step. Our next step, if you remember right, is we're telling Excel to either find us something close or find us something exact. We want exact, so we're going to type the word false, which brings up our preview of diploma. So again, if we did our VLOOKUP formula correctly, then we should find that the word diploma will come under Education, and we should be able to go to our Data tab and find it that John Smith's educational level is just a diploma. So let's click OK. The diploma came up. We go to our Data tab, we find John Smith, go to column 5, and the word diploma is there. So we have done our VLOOKUP function correctly. But again, we haven't answered the question in entirety yet. So we must go back to our question 2 tab. We click in our cell underneath Education, and because we have locked down this range like we did in the first one, we can drag this down and it will provide the information for the answer requested. Unlike question 1, we don't just have one variable we have to find an answer to, we have 2. We still have to find the answer for income. Now, if you remember at the very beginning of creating our formula, we did something different in question 2 than we did in question 1 when we did our lookup value reference. Well, if you remember up here, I told us that John Smith was in B7, but we clicked the F4 button multiple times, which locked down column B by placing this $ in front of it. Since we did that earlier, we can pull this over to income, our formula, and what you're going to see is the word diploma now in income and education. And you're probably telling me, whoa, time out. Diploma is not an income. We need to know the dollar value, and you're correct. The reason why diploma showed up here is because income is not in the same column as education. So in order to bring the dollar value in, we have to go back to our formula by clicking on FX, our insert function. And what this does, it's going to skip the other steps now because we already have a formula in here. And it's going to... Now, I just said a second ago that the difference between the income and education is the column that both of these reside. So, we need to click on our arrow, go back to Data, find income, which is in column 4, click on here, get rid of all this information that's in there, and just type the number 4. And because the rest of our formula is correct or already inputted, we get $45,000 as a preview. So if we did everything correctly, then our VLOOKUP function should come up with 45,000 in this income box by clicking OK. And it should match what is on the Data tab for John Smith in column 4 for $45,000. So let's click OK and let's find out. So yes, the $45,000 did show up. Now let's go over to the Data tab, go to John Smith, column 4, and we find $45,000. So we know we did our VLOOKUP correctly. So let's go back to our question 2 tab. Again, we're not finished because we still got to get the information for the rest of the folks. So all we got to do is pull this down and we'll come up with the numbers, the values for everybody's income. If you enjoyed this video, like it, subscribe it, share it, and thank you.